He's about 10'6", 325 pounds. Would you make him welcome? He is all the way from Knoxville, Tennessee, Mr. Steve Flynn. Come on, Steve.
What is up, Chattanooga? How y'all feeling this evening? That's right. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Man, that is one sexy midget. I don't blame you. But what y'all got to realize is that being short is not easy. Let me give you a couple of examples. I got a new job. Hadn't been working for 2 weeks, right? Get pulled over by the police one day on the way to the job site. Cop walks up on my side of the work truck. "Excuse me, son, how come you're not wearing your seatbelt?" I said, "Officer, I am, just not the shoulder strap." Before I even had a chance to explain, he's like, "Don't you know that years of scientific technology has went into that device so that it can save your life?" I was like, Officer, I'm sure that it has. But don't it defeat the purpose if it chokes the shit out of you before you get where you're going?" He's like, "Oh, I see we got us a comedian here." I was like, how'd you know? He didn't find that too funny. He gave me a ticket for not using a booster seat. Just an example of my life. Same day, alright, I'm working. I flip over the machinery that we're using on the job site. I got to call my boss and tell him that I flipped a $14,000 piece of machinery. I call him up, I'm like, "Hey boss, I flipped the dingo over, man." He's like, "Well, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, fine." And he's like, "Well, as long as you're okay, then everything's good." And so I thought, I thought I was going to get fired. I come into work the next morning, he's got a sign on it that says, "You must be this tall to operate the dingo." Feel free to laugh at my pain. Go ahead, I'll wait. Giving me a headache. Speaking of headaches, any married people in here tonight? Where's my married people at? Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that fell for that love, honor, and obey crap. Obey. I've been with my wife for 14 years. 14 years. She's here with me tonight, but I ain't gonna point her out because she'll whoop me out in the parking lot. But we've been together for 14 years. And I love her to death, but sometimes she does some stuff that really gets on my nerves. Like talking. Ladies, just a piece of advice. That whole talking thing, that'll drive a man to drinking. I got a bucket of Bud Light at the table right now. And see, we fight a lot. Well, not as much as we used to, but we still fight. And our last fight was over the toilet seat, right? Because whenever we got together, my wife told me our relationship is 50-50. It's 50-50. Y'all explain this to me. If our relationship is 50-50, how come after 14 years we're still arguing over who's going to put the toilet seat down? Didn't I do my 50% when I put it up? Do your 50%, put it down, quit being lazy. That's all I'm saying. Oh, let me tell y'all this. Seeing as how we're talking about me and my wife fighting, we got into a fight one day over an episode of Dr. Phil. If I ever meet Dr. Phil, nuts and kneecaps is getting messed up. I come home from work, man, I've been working hard out in 90-degree heat all day. I come home and the first thing I hear is, "Honey, I watched Dr. Phil today." I thought, oh, hell. So she's like, he had this woman on there, had her have her arm amputated, and her husband did not find her, attractive. She said, "If I had my arm amputated, would you still find me attractive?" I said, "Well, of course I would, honey. What kind of man do you think I am?" Being a woman, she couldn't stop. She said, "What if I got both my arms and both my legs amputated? Would you still love me?" I was like, they can't amputate the vagina, can they? As long as you got that crucial piece of equipment, we can work it out. I can teach you some chin push-ups, there's the sit and spin. I've always wanted to bang a midget. That's funny. Let me tell y'all a little bit more about me. You may not be able to tell my sophisticated attire, but I am a redneck. I ain't a dumb redneck though. I went and got my GED. And I can read a little. But see, y'all want to know how deep the redneck DNA is in my gene pool? I got a little girl. A couple years ago, we went out, we bought her a radio flyer wagon. One of the little red wagons, you know, every kid ought to have one. 2 years later, it's in the backyard up on blocks. and see, I tried to keep it in. You know, when they so me being a thinking man, there was a spare tire sitting over next to the garage. Well, I went over, got the spare tire, pulled the pull up, put the tire under it, problem solved. Let me tell y'all something. Nothing reaffirms your redneck like having to change a tire so your pool don't go flat. And see, I love my kids. I love my kids a lot. My little girl is fantastic, but let me ask y'all this. If any of y'all have kids, have y'all ever tried anything on your kids that your parents tried on you and had it backfire? Well, it happened to me. Last summer, I'm fixing, lunch for the kids. I'm like, come on in and eat. My little girl comes in, she sits down at the table, and she looks up at me. I'm like, baby, what's wrong? Because that's my girl. I want her to be happy. She said, Daddy, I don't like this. I said the same thing to her that my mama would have said to me. I said, there are starving children in Africa that would kill for the SpaghettiOs. You're going to eat them. She pushes the bowl to the middle of the table and says, pack that up and send it to Africa. And one more thing before I get out of here, my little boy is 11. And the other day, he walked in the bathroom on me when I was having a little me time. And I don't exactly know what you're supposed to say to an 11-year-old boy whenever you got Mr. Happy in a chokehold. So I come out of the bathroom and I go into the living room, and about 15 minutes later, he disappears into the bathroom. So I figure I return the favor. He's in there for like 20 minutes. I go and I kick the door open. Boom! Boy, what are you doing? He's standing there like this and he jumps. I said, son, what are you doing? He said, I'm just looking at it. Being a man and his father, I had to ask, well, what do you think? And he looked up at me and he said, it's kind of small. I didn't know what to say, y'all. So I said, first thing popped into my head, welcome to the family.